analysis. So what is the basic information about the data set? So that kind of analysis also can be done. And manipulation. So if you want to do some of the operations, like if you want to edit it, if you want to replace it, if you want to find out the certain element or data, so likewise you can able to manipulate the data. So manipulation and then cleaning. So cleaning in the sense, of course, so to removing the like empty cells or empty data, to removing the NaN values. So likewise you can able to do lot more things with the help of this pandas library. So while talking about another main advantage of this pandas library, which contains like before there is a data set. So while talking about the data set, so that data set may be in the format of CSV file, that data set may be in the format of text file, that data set may be in the format of like what Excel, like Excel SX format. So if even though it is in a different format, you can able to handle each and every format with the help of this pandas library. And while talking about this data structure of the pandas, there is a two things. One is series and another one is the data frame. So while talking about the series is nothing but one dimensional array with a label. So for an example, if it is a single dimension, that you can able to handle with the help of the series, whereas if it is a two or multi-dimensional, that can be handled with the help of data frame. Okay, these two are the main thing, guys, series and then data frame. Okay, if you are want to handle like a tabulation or tables, then you need to process it with the help of a data frame. For an example, if your data set is a single like one dimensional array, that can be handled with the help of the series. Okay, these two are the major or main data structure. So you may get questions from this also. Okay, so main about like a data structure of the pandas, which is series and then data frame. Okay, so and then let us start exploring some exercise. Let us do some exercise, guys. So what is the first exercise? First of all, we need to have like about initialization. So before initialization, so first of all, we need to know how to install a library. So I hope you guys all are familiar with how to install a library. If you know how to install a library, you just post "I know Sanjay" in your comment box. Okay, so because this is very basic, so on this time or on this session, we should know how to install a library, how to uninstall, and those things. Okay, those knowledge, I think you already got that. Okay, so this is the procedure. Like while installing in a Google Colab, I'll use the exclamatory symbol or prefix of the complete command. If you are installing it from the normal command window, you can use this direct syntax or direct terms like pip space install space pandas library. Here, instead of, since it is a Google Colab notebook, I'm using exclamatory symbol, so to install it from the notebook itself. So exclamatory pip install pandas, it will install the pandas library. And if you want to check it out the pandas library version, so pandas.version. Okay, with the help of that, we'll know we will know what is the version of the pandas. Okay, that is the first part. So I'm running this. Requirement already satisfied because which I have already installed. Okay, the version of the pandas which I'm using is 1.1.5. Okay, so now let us directly jump onto the first part, which is about initialization. So what is meaning by like initialization? So for an example, so as we have already discussed about the data frames or data structure, right? So if it is a single dimension or two dimension, so based on that we can choose whatever we want, right? So for an example, our same as like the first of all, we are going to assign like a series. Okay, we are going to see that series first. Okay, so here what is the main thing is, here for an example, a is equal to, this is the data which I have. So if you want to load that data with the help of the pandas, since it is a single dimension, I'm going to load it with the help of series. So as we already know, guys, as PD, what it means, instead of calling pandas and each and every time, we can specify by any keyword called as PD, so that we can able to access that pandas library by using the word or that letter called PD. Okay, so import pandas as PD. So we are going to call pandas with the help of PD, and EA is equal to 794. This is the sample data which I have. So for the data, I'm going to load it with the help of pandas. So dataset is equal to PD dot series. So here you just note down that S is uppercase, series of A. So I'm going to load it and I'm going to print it. Okay, it looks different, right? So this is the pandas library, guys. Pandas library with a series which is since it is a single dimension, it has been loaded. And if you are talking or if you are seeing this output, so on the left side it included some other thing. It is nothing but an index. Okay, so because so here we have the data, right? So this is the 0th index and this is the first index and this is the second index. Okay, you can name it like serial number or something like that. Okay, so these are the index where in the right side it just shown the data 794 and the type of this data which is integer 64. Okay, integer 64-bit. And if you have any scenario that if you want to include or if you want to load that data with its index, if you want to give some titles, so that title can be easily given by using the keyword called index. So it should be a input argument with the pd.series, guys. Okay, a same data which I have, so data set is equal to pd.same series of a. So only remaining thing, so I have added an index, sorry, I have added some you can call it like index title. For an example, for 7 I'm going to assign number 1, and for 9 I'm going to assign number 2, or for 4 I'm going to assign number 3. Okay, likewise we can able to include some of the titles. So for an example, so we have included that index. Okay, index, we have, for the index we have assigned some title, because in here the index which is represented in the number of like numbers 0, 1, 2. So instead of that, you can able to assign some titles for that. So for each and every data which we have, we are going to assign certain titles. So for an example, 7 is the number 1, and 9 is the number 2, and 4 is the number 3. Okay, this is the initialization, guys. This is the initialization of series. Okay, so and then that is like initialization, that is importing library. Other than that, this is a series with index. Okay, so without index, and a syntax series with index, and then we are going to see a data frame. So what is the data frame? As we have already discussed, that is a multi-dimension, where there is a multi-dimension of data that can be loaded with the help of data frame, right? So what is the thing is, so here what we are going to do, so here we have another new kind of data. So here it is having a list, and it is like a dictionary, right? So name, so we have champ, Mr. X and Mr. Y, and color, like favorite color, so we may have colors like red, black, and then white. Okay, these are the two dimension of data. Two datas are there. Name, so we have 3 names or 3 members are there, champ, Mr. X, and then Mr. Y. Whereas the color, we have 3 data, red, black, and then white. So how it is going to contribute? Champ's favorite color is a red, whereas Mr. X favorite color is black, Mr. Y's favorite color is white. Okay, so likewise it is going to match. This is the 2 dimension of data. So if you want to visualize the data in like a data frame with the help of the pandas library, we can use pd.dataframe syntax. So before we have used the series, since the data is in a single dimension, here we are going to use pd.dataframe. Okay, so pd.dataframe of data, which is we are going to load this data. So if you are printing the data, it will look like better way. It is really better, right? So when if you are seeing, if you are having the data, because why I'm explaining these kind of things to you guys, because the data acquisition. So what is meant by data acquisition? You are going to collect data from some other sources. So if you are using any cloud, some kind of service, so some cloud will provide you the data in the format of CSV, so that you can able to load directly. But other than that, if the certain data which is in the different format, like JSON or like this kind of dictionary format, so something like that, you should know how to handle the data. So before that, you can able to load the data in the format of like data frame. So with the help of that, we can able to load it in like a data frame. Okay, so name, we have 3 names are there, and color is also there, and our data set is equal to pd.dataframe. So we are going to load the data. So print of data set. So we have printed that. So name, that is a title, because this is the keyword. Okay, so name, that is a name keyword, and color, this is the color title, and inside that we have 3 names, champ, Mr. X, Mr. Y. So it has been organized in a vertical way, and red, black, and then white, which is organized in this vertical way. Okay, totally we have 2 columns and then 3 rows. So if you are including a title, it will be like 4 rows. Okay, so this is the data frame, so which we have loaded when the data is in a multi-dimension. So that can be loaded with the help of data frame. Okay, that is the first thing. So by loading in like a data frame. Okay, so series without index, series with index, and then data frame. So and additionally, so if you want to include index on the other options also, you can also use, guys. And loading a data set from the file. So what is the file here? So for an example, for a sample, I have 3 data set here. So which 3 data set is also going to be same, but each and every data set which is in a different format. So for an example, the first data set which is in a CSV format. Okay. Okay, so first data set which is in a CSV format, and second data set which is in a text format, and third data set which is in a XLSX format. Okay, so if you are opening the CSV, okay, so here we have the data. Okay, so here we have the data like 1 2 3 4, that's ID. So guys, how many of you watched Pokemon? Okay, if the people who are all from 90s and those people, I think, or I really guess that a lot of people have watched the Pokemon. This is a Pokemon data set. Okay, so how many of you guys watched the Pokemon cartoon? So if you have watched, you just post I watched the Sanjay in your comment box below. Okay, so here we have, this is the data set of Pokemon cartoon, where we have Pokemons like Bulbasaur and Venusaur and Charmeleon. So likewise we have Charmander. So likewise we have lot of Pokemon names. And then what type of Pokemon? Is it a grass type or fire type or water type or bug type Pokemon? Okay, and then type 2, and then HP of that Pokemon, and attack power of the Pokemon, and defense power of the Pokemon, and I think it is speed attack. I didn't know. Okay, this is I think another speed or def, and we have speed of that Pokemon and generation. So what is the generation of that Pokemon, and what is the legendary? So is it a legendary type of Pokemon, either true or false? So likewise we are going to have the this is the data set. Okay, those people who haven't watched the Pokemon, don't worry, because you are not going to bother about the data set. So with the help of this data set, we are going to work on a source code. Okay, don't worry about the data set. What is this? What is that Bulbasaur? What is that Caterpie? So likewise, don't bother about the data set, because we are going to work on working on like a program. Okay, don't worry about the data set. So this is the data set which is in the format of dataset.csv, and this is the data format which is in the format of like data text file. Okay, txt. Okay, so likewise we have a lot of data. Okay, so these are the data, guys. So each and every data which is going to be same. So only thing is so this data are in the different format. So same data but in a different format: CSV, text, and then XLSX file. Okay, so these are all the file. Okay, so guys, these are all the Pokemon dataset which you have which we are going to explore. So you can share me what is your favorite Pokemon, okay, in your comment box if you really love Pokemons. Okay, so this is the dataset, guys. So what the thing we are going to do is, we are going to load the 3 type of data set. Okay, again I'm telling you guys, don't worry about the Pokemon and those things. We are going to handle the data set simply. Okay, so what is the thing is, so we are going to load the data set which is in the 3 formats: CSV, text, and then XLSX file. Okay, so first of all, if you want to load the CSV file, because if you are having a data in the variable, that can be loaded by using pd.dataframe. But if the data set which is in the format of like .csv file, because this is the CSV file, right, the first data set which is in the CSV file, so if you want to load that, that can be loaded by using pd.readcsv. Okay, so pd.readcsv of dataset.csv. So that is the syntax to load the dataset. Okay, and before that we need to upload the 3 dataset file inside my folder. Okay, I'm going to select and I'm going to drag and I'm going to drop it here. Click OK. So it is uploading now. So 3 datasets are uploaded now, because first of all we need to upload the dataset into this notebook. Okay, first of all I have uploaded that. Now it will open this dataset.csv, and the people who are all using IDLE and the people who are all using Conda, so please try to place that 3 dataset in the specific directory. If it is located in the different directory, we just want to specify its location here. If you are using IDLE, those things, we just want to specify the folder likewise. Okay, so here since it is in current working directory, I'm going to simply directly load the dataset.csv. Okay, so here so dataset1.head, so this is the dataset1, right? So dataset1 is equal to pd.readcsv. So whenever your dataset is in the format of .csv, we can able to load it with the help of pandas.readcsv. And here pandas.head of 5. So usually what we used to print, so we used to print like a print of dataset 1. This is the format, right? So this is the format where we usually print the data. But if a data set is really huge, instead of wasting our memory and our computational power on that loading of complete data set, we can simply load it by using dataset.head of 5, which is going to give us the top 5 values of my data set. Okay, Bulbasaur, so this is the top 5 values, right? So these are the top 5 values of our data set. So head of 5 means it will give the top 5 values. Dataset.head means it is going to give the top 5 values. Whereas if you want to give, or if you want to show the last part, means you can put up a tail. Okay, so dataset1.tail means it will give last 5 values. Okay, I hope you understand up to here, guys. So dataset 1.head of 5, which is going to give the top 5 values of my dataset. This is the top 5 values which is given that. Okay, and this is the way of importing the dataset which is in the format of .csv. Okay, so that dataset or .csv which has been loaded now. Now, if the dataset which is in the format of .xlsx, so that can be loaded by using pandas.readxl. Okay, because before that is a read CSV, now that is pandas.readxl. Okay, so if you are running that, it is going to load that data set as same as like, okay, same procedure. Only thing we are going to change that certain syntax to based on the data format. Okay, so the data xlsx can be loaded by using the syntax called pandas.readxl. And if the dataset which is in the format of text file, that also can be loaded by using pandas.readcsv itself. Okay, it is going to be same for that. So pandas.readcsv, that dataset which is also loaded here. Okay, so these are the procedures, or these are the ways to load the dataset, guys. Okay, I hope you guys got this. So these are the ways. So for loading the datasets or for importing the dataset. Okay, so syntax for CSV, syntax for text file, syntax for XLSX file. And details about the datasets. Why we need to know about the details of the dataset? Because we already have the dataset, we can count from here. It is not that like way, because as you are a programmer, because of course the people who are present here all are programmers, right? So you should not make a count. So for an example, if some people are asking what is your total count of your dataset, how many rows and then how many columns, what is the mean of the certain column? So likewise, if the people are asking a question, you should not do a manual count. So that can be easily done by using this pandas library. Okay, so that is what we are going to see from this segment. So dataset details. So how can you do that? For an example, from the keyword called shape. So dataset 1, which is already loaded here. This is the CSV file I'm going to use throughout the complete program. Okay, so CSV file which was already loaded in the name of dataset 1. So whenever I'm calling dataset 1, we are going to load that dataset in the CSV format. Okay, so dataset 1.shape, what it means, it is going to give us number of rows and then columns present in our dataset. Whereas dataset 1.describe, which is going to give us the overall information about the dataset. So I'm going to run this. First of all, we got one answer, 800, 12. What? Which means this dataset. So this dataset which contains 800 rows and 12 columns. So it can be easily taken from the single line. Okay, print of dataset.shape, which is going to give us number of rows and then number of columns present in our dataset. And dataset.describe, which is going to give us the complete information, because how many values of the dataset. So for an example, for the first thing, how many values are there? For HP, how many values are there? So totally 800 values are there for each and every column. And what is the mean of the HP column? What is the mean of the attack column? What is the mean of the speed column? What is the mean of the generation column? So likewise, count, mean, standard deviation, minimum value, 25% value, 50% of value, 75% of value, maximum value. Likewise, it can able to give you the overall information about this dataset. So that can be easily obtained by using a dataset.shape, which is going to give the number of rows and the number of columns present in our dataset. Dataset.describe, which is going to give us the information such as count, mean, standard deviation, minimum, and then maximum values. Okay, so that is the thing is about a dataset.details. Okay, to obtain or to know about the details of a dataset. And the data slicing. So what does mean by the data slicing, guys? So as we already discussed, because in the previous session also we have already discussed that, right? So data slicing, for an example, if you want to get some information from the data, so after getting that, you can able to assign it to the another variable, or just for printing you can do that. So that's up to you. But other than that, if you want to retrieve some of the data from the certain data set, that is a data slicing, right? So here what we are going to do, first of all, to get only column title. So if you want to know the title of your column, so that can be easily taken by using a dataset1.column. Guys, I hope you all remember that dataset. What does this dataset1 means? Whenever I'm calling this dataset1, it is nothing but we have already loaded this dataset1 by using pandas.readcsv file. Okay, don't confuse yourself. What does mean by that dataset1? That is nothing but we have loaded the dataset file. Okay, so the first answer, what is the first thing? So dataset1.columns. So which is going to give us the title of our data, title of our data set. So what is the index? Ash. Okay, this is the ash here, right? And then name, type 1, type 2, HP, attack, defense, SP attack, SP def, speed, generation, legendary. These are the titles, right? So this is the information which we can able to easily get it by using dataset one dot columns. So I hope you guys got this. And if you want to get the certain data, like only if you need only the name column, okay, so we have Bulbasaur, Pikachu, and like what, Charmander. There are a lot of Pokemons out there, right? If you want to load the certain certain column, you can able to get that complete data on the present column by specifying its title. So here dataset one of name, so by specifying it this way, like square braces, inside the square braces of string name, you can able to get the complete data which is present in this specific column. So for an example, so here we got up to here, right? So these are the data, right? So these are all the data. So Bulbasaur and Venusaur and Venusaur, Charmander. Likewise, we got complete name. If you need only the certain column, for an example, like if you need only only attack means, you can instead of name, you can drop it like attack. It should be proper way, guys. It should be properly mentioned, that title. So same name should be used there. Okay, attack means it is given that attack attack column. So if I need a type 1 means, so I need to put like type space 1. So if you run that, it will give you the type of that only type column. Okay, so likewise, based on your need, we need to specify it and we need to run it. Okay, and instead of that, instead of getting a one column, if I need this type 1 and the speed, or else if I need the name and then speed. So if you need multiple columns, so how can I get that? Because what is the main thing is, like here we have used this dataset one of name, right? So this is the one name, so or one title. Whereas instead of that, if you want to get out or get the multiple columns, so that can be get out by using the another syntax, like you just want to put one comma. Okay, so name inside the square braces itself, like we need to include the two square braces inside that, name comma speed. Okay, two square braces which has been initiated and close braces. So it can able to give you the two columns at a time. So here we have this is the output of that. So here we have Pokemon name and the speed of that Pokemon name and speed of the Pokemon. So likewise, if you want to obtain multiple columns, that can be obtained by using this syntax. Okay, and dataset one of name. So what is that thing is, like for an example, if you want to get the data based on the specific title with specific count, for an example, you need this column. Okay, so on this column, if you need only this data, only top 10 data, or only 50 data, or only 60 data, because previously dataset.head, it can able to give you this top 5 values. So head of 5 means it can give you the top 5 values. Head of 10 means it can able to give you the top 10 values. So instead of that, if you want to need a specific column by specific number, we can able to specify that. So for an example, dataset one of name, and inside that we have specified the like count. So for example, 0 to 6 means it can able to give only the 6 values. It start from 0, Bulbasaur, Venusaur, Charmeleon, Charmander, right? So this is all only 5 data. So I hope you all clear this. So I'm repeating that again, or repeating that 4 parts again. First of all, you can able to get the title, only the title by using dataset.columns. And if you need a certain column, you can specify its name or title by using dataset of name or title, that title name. Okay, so and then if you need multiple titles, you can put up a comma in between, and you need to initiate 2 square braces so that you can able to get multiple columns. If you need to get a column with a certain number of values, so that you can able to initialize its range. So 0 to 6 is the data which I need. So likewise, you can able to get the data based on the titles or based on the count. So I hope you are clear with this up to now. If you are clear the first part, you just put I'm clear up to the first one in your comment box. Okay, I'm clear in your comment box. Okay, that is the first part, guys. Whereas there is also a second way or second part. So first of all, here we are also need to know about iloc. So iloc, so what is meant by that iloc? Iloc is nothing but integer location. Here we can able to acquire the complete info about the certain index. You just to see the output, then only if then you can able to understand that. First of all, what we got, these are the first output. So for an example, dataset 1 dot iloc of 1. Before we have got the column, right? So we have got the column by specifying its title. So by specify, if you need a name column, you have specified name. If you need a speed column, you specified speed. Likewise, if you need to get other row wise, but if you want to specify by with the help of that index, that can be taken by using iloc. Okay, so dataset 1 dot iloc of 1. What does mean by that iloc of 1? This data. I hope you are clear with this, right? So this data, this is the iloc of 1, this is the iloc of 0, this is the iloc of 3, or this 2, iloc of 3, iloc of 4. So for an example, this is iloc of 1, right? So I'm going to put 0. Okay, if I put that, so name is Bulbasaur, this is the first one, and the type 1 is it is a grass type Pokemon. This one is the grass, and this is the also a poison type of Pokemon. Poison is here, and then HP is 45. For an example, this also will be helpful for what student mark list. So you may have a data sets like student's name and science or social or physics or chemistry or maths or computer science. Likewise, you may have a lot of subjects and marks. So if you need to get that information about a certain user or certain student, like based on that ID, so you can able to get it by using this iloc function. That is the function of first one. I hope you are clear with this. Okay, so dataset dot iloc of 0. Okay, so this is thing. Okay, so and then another main thing about dataset 1 dot dataset 1 dot iloc of 1:5. Okay, while talking about this 1:5, so it is about the range. So what is the range which is present here? 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, these are the 5 data. So 5 data which if you want to specify or if you want to get it the data based on a certain range, that can be easily obtained by using this by specifying its range. Okay, 1:5 means so it is about 1 to 5 data. So we got this answer, right? So top 5 data. So likewise you can able to get the data. Whereas if you so 1 to 5 means 1 2 3 4, definitely it won't include the 5 number. And dataset dot iloc of 1 comma 2, so it is like acquiring a specific cell data. For an example, 1 comma 2, so row comma column. So first row and then second column. So what is the data? So that is the grass. Okay, first row and then second column, that is a grass. So likewise, if you want to obtain or if you want to get the data like certain cell from the certain cell, that can be easily obtained by using 1 comma 2. Okay, so I hope you are clear with this, guys. Dataset dot iloc of certain index. So here you can call it like also like an integer index location. So if you are specifying with the 0, so 0 means so it is about what like a certain row. Okay, certain row index. Okay, row index, or you can call it like based on the range. So a certain range of the data set you can able to acquire it by using 1:5, which is 1 to 5. It won't include 5, so 1 2 3 4. And 1 comma 2 means we are specifying the certain data. For an example, we are specifying this like a first row and then third column, first row like fourth column. So likewise, if you want to get the certain cell data, it can able to taken by using this iloc. I hope you are clear with this, guys, about the iloc. Okay, and then let us move on to the next part, which is about if you want to get the overall data within a 2 lines of program, that is also can be taken by using iter rows. Okay, so iter rows, what does mean by that? So for index comma row, so what is the index? That 0 1 2 3, those things, and then comma row. In dataset 1 dot iter rows, print of index comma row name. So it can also give you the data in the different format. Okay, so it is also another way to get the data. So we have taken only the names by using this. So it is going to process the complete data. So for index comma row, so how many data are there? So complete data we are going to retrieve it and we are going to print it there. So index comma row of name, so a row of name. So it is going to get that complete data. So we can also use the iter rows function. Okay, so I hope you are clear with this. And then what we are going to do, we are going to go for the next process, data slicing with a filter. Okay, so while talking about this data slicing with filter, so what is mean by filter? So as of course we need to know about that filter. Why? Because if you have any constraints, so for an example here there is a data. So like if it is a mark sheet, so those people who don't know about the Pokemon, if there is a mark sheet, so if you want to get the data separately, if you want to create the another data separately, that data which should contains the people who scored greater than 90 marks. So if you want to get that data separately, so there are other marks too. So if you want to retrieve the data based on the specific parameter, that can also be used or that can be filtered by using the normal filtering process like a lock function. Okay, location. So print of dataset 1 dot log of dataset square braces of which parameter, in which parameter you are going to categorize, or we are going to filter it out. For an example, like if it is a max, we just want to specify here is the max column. So if the speed is greater than 90, we are going to get the data. For an example, if you are running this output, so here it just printed only when the speed is greater than 90, because if you are seeing the actual data, so there we have speed like 45 or 60, which is also like, which is ranging from 30 also. But here we have filtered out the data by specifying some of the parameters, even though if you want to match some string. So for an example, here what are all the Pokemon which is a poison Pokemon means. So here instead of speed, we need to put type 2. Okay, type 2 means, so type space 2, and then you can put up some double equals 2, and then string of which one is poison. So likewise, you can able to filter out only the poison Pokemon. So these are like poison Pokemons. Okay, this is one type 1 and type 2 is here. Okay, so likewise, if you want to filter out based on the sum of the parameter, that is also can be filtered by specifying these kind of parameters by using a log function. So dataset 1 dot log of dataset, which column we are going to specify, which column we are going to assign it for filter, and then greater than 90, which is going to filter out and which is going to print out the results. Okay, so I hope you are clear with this filter, guys. If you are clear the filter, you just post I'm clear about filter, Sanjay, in your comment box. Okay, and then what we are going to do, we are going to do some sorting. So sorting was also necessary. If you want to sort out the data, how can you do that? So here dataset 1 dot sort values of HP, because here I'm going to sort the data based on this HP. Okay, so based on this HP of the Pokemon, I'm going to sort the data. So HP comma ascending is equal to false. What does mean by ascending is equal to false? Because if you are not specifying that, it will organize in ascending order. So if you are assigning like ascending is equal to false, then it is about a descending order. So based on the highest horsepower, so it is going to give us like 25, 255, 250, 190, 170. So likewise, it is going to organize the database in the descending order. Okay, descending order on the specific parameter of HP. Whereas if you need to organize in the based on a speed parameter, so if you run this, it is going to organize based on the speed on the descending order. So if you need it in the ascending order, you can put ascending is equal to true, and if you are running that, speed is equal to 5. So from the 5, it is going to organize in based on ascending order. Okay, likewise, we can able to give it in this way. Okay, so false. So, and then I'm going to run this. So likewise, so you can able to slice the data based on the sorting. So only thing simple, guys, if you want to segregate the data separately, you can assign it to the another variable like data set 3 is equal to. So likewise, if you done that, so that data set will be assigned into the another variable. Okay, that's going to be very simple. Okay, these are the slicing, and then we are moving on to the next process or next function, which is editing a data. If you want to edit a data, so on the previous thing, so on the previous times we have used power queries and those things, we used to add columns, right? Same as like by the from the program also we can able to add the columns. So here first of all we need to specify the new column name, which is dataset power, because if you are seeing this dataset, there is no power column here, right? So dataset 1 power is equal to dataset 1 horsepower plus dataset 1 attack. Likewise, I'm going to add. So here arithmetic operation has also been done. Okay, dataset horsepower plus dataset 1 attack. We are going to add both HP and then attack, and we are going to give us the result. So for an example, if I'm going to run this, so it added a power. Okay, so another main important thing, guys, I wish to really wish to share with you, because people used to think that whenever we are running the program, it is going to be reflected into the data sets. Definitely it won't reflect, because a lot of people are thinking that whenever I'm doing this in a program, it won't affect, because it will be changed in this notebook. So in this only dataset 1 variable, if you really need to add in the export, like in the specific CSV file like this, we need to export that variable as a CSV file. That is also we are going to explore on the upcoming part. So if you are exporting that, that will be good. So on like after you have done that, so you can able to see the power category here. Until then you are exporting that as in a CSV file or any file format, it won't show it in a dataset file which is present here. Okay, so what is the thing is, guys, here we have added in a variable, that's it. So if you are printed like a dataset.head, so on the final state we are here, we have column which is 94, 122, 162. So likewise for a complete dataset it will be changed. Okay, this is the adding a column. If you want to add a column, that can be easily added by using this way. And if you want to remove a column, so if you want to remove a certain column, that column can be removed by using dataset1 is equal to dataset1 dot drop of columns is equal to power. Okay, now we have this power column, right? So if you want to drop out, that column can be removed. Okay, so or else if you want to save, so before that let us save it in our dataset. So let us see what is the output is. So if you want to save that, so for an example, dataset 1 to 2 CSV, if you want to save the dataset, which we have added a power category, right? So power column we have added. If you want to export as a file, so it can be easily imported within a single line. So dataset 1 to CSV of new dataset.csv. So within a single line, we have exported in the CSV format and XLSX format and CSV format by having that space. Okay, so likewise you can able to add like this. Okay, text file. So likewise, so for an example, that is a CSV. Okay, so that is up to you. Okay, so here if you are running this part, it will generate 3 more files. So here we have 3 more files, right? So this new dataset.csv, new dataset.xls file, likewise it will add or it will export other more files too. Okay, so for an example, if you want to explore that file, you can click that and you can click a download button. So this file will be downloaded. So if you are opening that, so you can able to explore that dataset. Here we have power, right? So likewise we can able to retrieve the data likewise. Okay, so this is the file, guys. Okay, so I hope you understand this. Okay, so it is all about, so if you want to do some changes and if you want to export in a data file, that is also can be easily done. And if you want to remove the certain column, that can be removed by using dataset1 dot drop of columns. So if you are running this, the column which is power column, which is going to be removed. Okay, so here what is the thing is, so dataset1 dot drop of columns is equal to power. We have got the output we have removed the final column, which is a power column. Okay, so power, it is going to be removed. That's it. Okay, so and then that's all up to here. And if you want to save, so that's it. We have already seen that. And another very main thing which we need to save is the save dataset, which is also we have explored. Okay, and if we want to know about checking a NaN values, it is highly necessary for the data analyst people, guys. Okay, so what is the main thing about removing or identifying the NaN values? What is NaN value? So for an example, if there is any null value which is present in our data sets, that needed to be removed, guys, that needed to be replaced or that needed to be removed. For that, first of all, we need to identify, is there any NaN value on the certain column? For an example, let us close this. This is the data set, right? So on that complete data set, is there any NaN? Okay, is there any NaN which is present in our data set? Okay, so that can be easily identified by using the syntax called dataset1.isNA.NE. So if you are running this, it can able to give you the output like what? So on the name column, there is no NaN value. On the hash symbol and the hash column, there is no NaN value. On the type 1 column, there is no NaN value. On the type 2 column, there is a NaN value. Why? Because here, if you are seeing here, there is no value, right? So this is a null. So here we have lot of NaN values are there, right? So these are the issues. So issues where the people used to face. So whenever it is returning, so it will return based on the column wise. So on the column wise, for each and every column, it will return like a Boolean output, true or false, true or false. If there is true, which means that on that specific column, we have a NaN values. So out of that complete column, on the type 2 column, we have a NaN values, right? So that can be removed in many ways, guys. As we have already discussed on the previous session, already we worked on that previous session, where we have discussed about the mean and then median, guys. How many of you people are remember that? So why we gone for mean and then median, guys? If you know the answer, you can post your answers in the comment box. Okay, because we have already seen that. So how to replace that, right? So the first way, if that is a string, so if it is a string, so there is also another way, like we can able to get only the data which is not a NaN value. Okay, for an example, we are going to remove the certain column, or certain row where there is a NaN value in the certain column. Okay, that is the first way. Okay, so I'm going to do that. Dataset1 is equal to dataset1 dataset type 2 dot not NA. What it means? It means we have removed the NaN value. So for an example, if I'm again running this, so now there is a false. Okay, how it is false now? Because we have removed it. We have removed the certain column. We have removed a certain each and every rows where there is a nan value which is present in the type 2, because before on the type 2 it shows true. Now it is not showing true here because everything is false, because now there is not a nan value. Okay, that is about this data set 2 dot not a nan, okay, not NA, which means not a null value. Okay, and after that what we are going to do, so that is the first way. Okay, where that is a that is the first way, like if it is a string value for an example. So that is also another way where we have already seen that. So if let us assume for an example, so in the speed category, if there is any nan value, that is going to be replaced with a mean. So what it means, so for an example, so on the speed category, if there is any empty variable like this, so empty value like empty cell like this, we can able to get the mean of that complete data, and we can able to replace the mean on this place. Okay, that is the meaning of that. So mean or median, so that can be filled out whenever there are multiple empty variables or empty cell, that can be replaced with mean of the certain complete column data. Okay, that is known as this data, guys, filling nan with a mean of that specific column or median. So if you need a median, you can put up a median here. Okay, so this is all up to you guys. Okay, so if you need a median, you can put up a median, or if you need a mean, you can put up a mean here. Okay, I hope you are clear with this. So this is the second way, so to replace or to overcome that nan values. And there is a third way. So here it is not a third way, so it is like two better ways. So one, you can remove the certain row, or you can able to replace it with the mean, or you can able to replace it with the some other character. But randomly, if you are assigning it, that is not a good data set. So that's why instead of that, you can able to load whatever the data, so you can able to load without that certain row. Okay, so that equal distribution of data will be also be there. So that's the thing. Okay, so that's the main reason. One thing, you can remove the certain row, or another thing, if it is a numerical values, you can remove it, or you can able to replace it with a mean or median. Okay, and then what is about the next one, which is what is that, which is fixing a nan value. For fixing a value, one thing, acquiring a data set without a nan value by removing that row if it is a string, filling a nan values with a mean or median of a specific row if it is a numerical value. There is also another main thing which we need to know, mapping certain value to the another. What does mean by that? For an example, guys, here we have the set data. Here we have 1 2 3 4 5. So generation 1 2 3 4 5 6. So likewise, we have this data. Okay, so if you want to replace this 1 with string, the ONE1, so 2 with number 2 with a string TWO2, number 3 with a string THRE3. So likewise, if you want to replace, or if you want to map number 1 to ONE, number 2 to TWO, so likewise, if you want to map that is also can be done. So you can ask, what is the purpose? What is the purpose of using that mapping? Guys, if you are using a machine learning project, so if you are using a machine learning project, if you are going to develop, or if you are going to do some machine learning projects, on that time you may have some data. For an example, if you are taking about accident data, so accident analysis. So on that accident analysis, if you want to consider about the gender, so in the data set, in the gender data set, if there is a data set like male, female, female, so in the data set, if there is this kind of strings or this kind of text, so what you need to do, you need to replace that string male into 1 and female into 0, female into 0, and male into 1. So likewise, you can able to map the certain data into a numbers or any data. So number to string, or number to text, or text to numbers, anything. So you can able to replace that with the help of some mapping function. So that is also a main mapping function. What we did is, actually, so here in the certain column, generation column, we have 1 2 3 4 5 6 numbers are there. So here we don't have any male Pokemon or female Pokemon. Instead of that, here we have generations like 1 2 3 4 5 6. So we are going to replace that numbers into text. So first of all, we are going to print the tail. Okay, so tail means last part. So on the last part, we have generation like 666, or you can also put like head. Okay, so that's your option. So what we are going to do, we are going to see the top 5 values before mapping. Okay, so before mapping, we have numbers. Okay, so as I've already ran accidentally, okay, so it's okay, so no problem. Okay, I'll run the data set flow again. because that variable will be completely replaced. So that's the reason I'm replacing it. Okay, what we are going to do is, so if you are seeing this, so I'm going to run this part. So on the first time, it is in the format of like 1 1 1 1. Okay, generations are 1 1 1. So that is the first line meaning. So we have just printed the top 5 results before replacing or before mapping. And in the second line, so generation is equal to set of data set 1 of generation. We are going to filter out, or we are going to segment, or we are going to categorize, or we are going to remove that specifically that generation column. Okay, on the generation, we are just going to assign in a kind of like sets. Okay, it is going to be like a sets. Okay, once it is in a set, so these are the sets, right? So dataset 1 generation is equal to dataset 1 generation dot map function map of, we are going to map 1 into 1, 2 into 2, like which means number 3 as text 3, and number 4 as text 4, number 5 as a text 5, and number 6 as a text 6, and as type which is str, because we are going to convert that into a string. For an example, if you are converting male string into 1 and female string into 0, then we, instead of str, you need to put integer, because we are converting string to text. Here we are converting string to number. Okay, if you are converting string to number, then we need to put integer here, whereas here we are converting number to string, so that's why instead of int we need to put str. Okay, so that's the done. And finally, so once the replace is done, finally again we are going to print the top 5 results. So if you are seeing here, instead of 1, there is ONE. Okay, so I hope you have clearly enjoyed this today's session, guys, because it's really a lot more difficult, or a lot more concept which you really need to learn. So those things we have learned from this complete program, and please go through the mind map ones, and please go through and please practice once, so that you'll get a better idea about this data set and how to handle it. Just try to play, guys, try to play. Okay, try to play with the data set, change whatever you want, try to observe that. Before that, you just save the data set in any of the different folder, original data set, and take a copy of it. Try to play with that, guys. Okay, so try to play with this, try to explore a lot more things by changing those things, by replacing that data to another. So likewise, try to play with this, guys. Just play, guys. So here we are about 30-day success mindset. So yesterday's task is to write down all the things that create resistance in the process of you taking an action. So which one is struggling you, or which one is giving a block, or putting a block in front of you to do or to make some action. That is what the yesterday's exercise. Whereas today's exercise, which is about make a list of reward for yourself from inexpensive to expensive. So likewise, you just list out what are all the rewards you need. So inexpensive in the sense you may need some of the basic needed. So basic needs to high needs. So what are the reward you expect? Okay, so you just write down what are the reward you need. Okay, please write it down, guys. Once the return part is completed, we are going to do some physical task as well. Okay, so please be ready for it. Okay, so I think from tomorrow we'll do that. I don't know, I'm not sure. Okay, definitely we are going to do that kind of practical task. Okay, because I'm also doing it with you, so please do it with me. Up to this today's task, you just write down, take your notebook and spend some time for your, if you really want to be successful, please follow the success mindset. Please write it down. So make a list of reward for yourself from inexpensive to expensive. Please prioritize, give the high priority for inexpensive, and then finally we'll have expensive. Likewise, you just take a list and just please write it down, guys. Okay, it's me Sanjay signing off. Until then, bye. We'll see you on the tomorrow session.